In this video, we are going to go over PMT 13.1 homework. Now, most of this homework is totally doable. It's a lot of calculator work. It's definitely helpful to draw, but there are some problems here that are absurdly difficult, and we are going to go over them. So definitely higher order thinking questions. And well, let's get to them. Number 9, I think it's doable, but I'm going to go ahead and give you a hint and help you out anyways. So it starts off, a parking space is shaped like a parallelogram. The parking space shaped like a parallelogram has a base of 19 feet and a height of 8 feet. A car parked in the space is 13 feet long and 5 feet wide. How much of the parking space is not covered by the car? Okay, so they will have this parallelogram parking space, I guess. So I guess two pairs of parallel sides. It's got a base of 19 feet and a height of 18. So let's draw a height, and this is 18. Okay, so they said a car is covering this, and the car is 13 feet wide and 5 feet long. So I guess I assume that there's like this car, and it's definitely helpful to draw. And I mean, I guess I could draw the car on top of this parallelogram, but technically I don't need to. But it looks like this car is probably looks like some kind of rectangle, and it's 13 feet long and 5 feet wide. And they're asking us how much of this parking space is not covered by the car. Well, if we imagine that this car was on top of here, how much of the area is not covered by the car? Well, the car only covers this red space over here, which means the rest of it, all of this right here, all of that is not covered. So basically, it sounds like you're just finding the area of our parallelogram and then the area of our car, and then you're subtracting the area of the car from the area of the parallelogram. All right, not too bad. Hopefully you were able to figure that out. Let's look at number 10, which is also pretty tricky. So it says, well, Simon says that to find the area of a trapezoid, you can multiply the height of the top of the base and the height of the bottom of the base, then add the two products together and divide by the sum, or decide the sum by 2. Is Simon correct? I got to think through this. All right. So he says to find the area of a trapezoid. So I drew a trapezoid already. You can multiply the height of the top of the base. So let's just let's guess. Let's kind of give it a height. Let's say this is 5. And the height of the bottom base, let's just give it a number. Let's say that's 10. You multiply the height of the top and the bottom, and then you can multiply the height by the top of the base and the bottom of the base. So I haven't come up with height yet. Let's choose an easy number for the height. Let's choose 2. So I multiply the top and the bottom by 2, and then add the two products together and then divide the sum by 2. Is Simon correct? So typically, area of a trapezoid, let's make that a little bit bigger. Area of a trapezoid is A equals, capital A equals height times B1, or it's actually 1/2, so 0.5, times the height, times base 1, big base 1, plus B2, that's not B times 2, times the height. So he's saying, so if I had multiplied this out, if I did this normally, I should, let's do my trapezoid. So let's do base 1 times base 2, which is 5 plus 10. And 5 plus 10 is, so for my trapezoid, it's 15. And then my height is 4. So let's, I'm doing 15, 4, and then I still have to multiply this 0.5. 0.5. So 0.4 times 15, A equals, by the way, 0.5 times 15 times 4 Height is 2. What am I thinking? This height is not 4. It is 2. So if it's 2, let's say I multiply those two numbers together. 15 times 0.5 times 2. I get 15, not 30. Oh my goodness. Mistakes, mistakes. So my answer is 15. So he's saying I should multiply 5 times 2 and 10 times 2 and then add it up and divide by 2. So 5 times 2 is, so I would get 10. And then 10 times 2 is 20. And he wants me to add those up, which is, let's move that up. If I add those up, I get 30. And then he's saying I divide it by 2, which gets me 15. So yes, that is true. That's a long-winded explanation for just follow me. Yes, he is correct. He's using the distributive property because he's just basically multiplying. If you remember from, he's just basically doing this. So area equals 0.5 times the height times base 1 plus base 2. And if you remember, you can actually double rainbow this, h times b1 and h times b2, and that gets you hb1 plus hb2, which is height times b1 and height times b2, and then you're going to multiply or divide that whole thing by 0.5. And it says, then he finds a sum. Multiplying by 0.5 or 1/2 is the same as dividing by 2. Check your answer. That's the answer. It's complicated. Don't worry about it. And number 11, which is the worst of all, a trapezoid. Now, this is extremely difficult. So I recommend you doing this step by step, but even this would make it very confusing. The height of a trapezoid is 4 inches, and its area is 32 inches squared. One base of the trapezoid is 6 inches longer than the other base. What are the lengths of the bases? Complete the explanation of how you found your answer. The way they've set this up is also very complicated. So remember that area equals 1/2, which is 0.5 on the right, times base 1 plus base 2 times the height. And they told us that the height is 4 inches. So let's just put 4 inches. And they say the area is 32 inches squared. So square inches. So let me draw this height thing on right there. So that's 4 inches. And they said one of the bases is 6 inches longer than the other. So I don't know how long either of these bases are. So this is question mark and this is question mark, but this is question mark plus 6. So let's put in the information we do know. 32 square inches is the area. So that would be, replace A with 32, bring down the equal sign, 1/2 times base 1 times base 2 plus base 2, which we don't know, times the height, which is 4. Now, when we multiply, we can just multiply all the numbers that we do know up here. Right now, we don't know. We do know the height, and we know that this is 1/2. So what we can do is basically multiply 4 times 1/2. This is still going to be 32. This is still going to be equal, but simplifying on the right side, you would get 4 times 1/2, or so 4 times 0.5, which equals 2. And you're still left with base 1 plus base 2. Now, well, the rules of algebra tell us that we can actually get this b1, this parentheses thing by itself, if we get rid of this 2. And we get rid of this 2 because it's being multiplied with that parentheses by dividing by 2. If we divide by 2, it crosses off. Divide this by 2, and then we end up with not 32, but 16. So 16 equals base 1 plus base 2. So we now have to take a guess. What plus what equals 16? Now, one of these numbers needs to be 6 more than the other. And technically, we can use an algebra to set that up too. We can say x plus 6 equals 16. But thankfully, I know the answer. It's 5 and 11, or sorry, 5, and the other number is 6 more. I think it's going to be 5 and 5 plus 6, which is 11. Yeah, 5 and 11. And 5 and 11 will get you your answer. Um, like I said, this is ridiculous. So one base is 5 and the other is 11. And then it says at the end, this is 1 inches, one base is 5, the other is 11. I don't know why they ask you to type it twice. But they ask you to use a formula, substitute 32 for A and 4 for H, then simplify the equation to find it. Basically, they want you to do 32 divided by 4 divided by 2, which is 2, which gets you 16 equals B1 plus B2, which is kind of what I have. Oops, not right that one, but what I have right here. And then use that to and guess to find two numbers that add to that 16 with one of the other numbers equaling to 6. This is a nightmare. If you don't get it, don't feel bad. You can skip it. It's a terrible question. It's great if we've learned this, but there's a good chance we may not have because it's pretty darn advanced. Anyhow, go ahead and try the rest on your own. Good luck.